Assalamualaikum and a happy day to all who's watching. Welcome to our talk. I am Shahrul, your host for today. So today we will have our two speakers here who are specialized in vaccine. So the first speaker is Dr. Maisara from Hospital Kuala Lumpur. How are you feeling, doctor?
I feel great. Thank you for having me here.
No problem. Okay, and our second speaker here, she's Datin Nik Mirza from University Malaya. How are you feeling, Datin?
Yeah, happy to be here.
So, our discussion for today is a topic on anti-vaccine. I will be starting off this discussion by giving an introduction to what anti-vaccine is. Anti-vaccine refers to a group of people who opposes to the use of vaccines. So what are vaccines? Vaccines are a substance used to stimulate the production of antibodies and provide immunity against one or several diseases prepared from causative agent of a disease, its product, or a synthetic substitute treated to act as an antigen without inducing the disease. So, this group of people who opposes to the use of vaccines are mostly concerned on the safety and efficacy of it. So here's a little data on the number of vaccine refusal by state in 2013 to 2016. We will look at this in our own home country only. As we can see from the data, it is well proven that in all states throughout the years, vaccines refusals have been increased tremendously. It is seen obviously from Perak. The difference from 2015 and to 2016 is a huge gap, which is from 145 to 285. On an average, the number of vaccine refusal has increased throughout the years from 2013 to 2016 in all of the states, meaning to say Malaysia as a whole. All in all, the highest rate of refusal was in the year 2016 of approximately 1,600 refusing. This is only seen up to year 2016. Lately, statistics have been increasing from year to year, and now in 2019 there are even more people refusing vaccines due to certain reasons that will be discussed in this talk with our specialists today. In addition, this data only explains on our home country statistics. In other parts of the world, people are also rejecting vaccines, and if this is not fixed, there are chances that the rate will increase more. The reason of most people rejecting vaccines is just due to misunderstandings and myths going around them saying that vaccines are the reasons of diseases coming around, whereas in reality, vaccines are the one preventing children out there from being infected by deadly diseases. So I'm pretty sure that most people out there do not know how horrible these diseases are. So we have provided you a short video after this explaining how severe these diseases are.
Vaccines have done such a good job preventing so many diseases that many generations have never seen them. But here's what these diseases looked like without vaccines. In 1967, smallpox was responsible for millions of deaths. By 1980, it was completely eradicated due to an intensive vaccine campaign. Before polio vaccine was available, 13,000 to 20,000 cases of paralytic polio were reported each year in the United States. This meant thousands of children had to use braces, crutches, wheelchairs, and ventilators to breathe. From 1964 to 65, before the rubella vaccine, there were 2,100 neonatal deaths and 11,000 miscarriages, and of the 20,000 born with rubella, more than half ended up deaf, over 3,000 blind, and 1,800 with mental delays. As for measles, before immunization was available, nearly everyone in the US got measles because it's extremely contagious. The World Health Organization estimates that regular vaccination has prevented 20.4 million deaths from measles worldwide from 2000 to 2016.
So, doctor, Lately, I've heard some news on people questioning whether the vaccines are halal or not. This may concern whether the vaccines are safe or not to be used. So, can you clarify this with us today?
Well, yeah, sure. Well, there have been a rising number of anti-vaccine cases every year, and researchers have found that these cases mostly came from those people who have almost no medical backgrounds, and they have been using this religious acumen, saying that the substance used in vaccines contains something non-halal. So, well, the original vaccines, yeah, we do. The vaccines does contain pig gelatin, but when it was first introduced in Malaysia in around 1950, we can change the substance used from the pig gelatin into a cow gelatin. So, eventually, right now, we are trying to work on more plant-based vaccines to improve the confidence of these types of people.
Okay, thank you so much for the information. So now we know that vaccines are changed from pig pigments to cow pigments. So for Muslims, cows are halal and pigs are not. So the change from pig to cow will make the vaccine to be more safe to be used. Is it correct?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next issue. Okay, so Datin, we came to know that the number of anti-vax people have been increasing from year to year, and the threats of deadly diseases to also increase. Is this true, and how serious is this matter?
Yeah, this matter is serious because the World Health Organization has listed the vaccine hesitancy as one of the top 10 threats in their website, and that vaccine has always been one of the most cost-effective ways to avoid diseases. Every year it prevents 2 to 3 million deaths, and which could be increased to another 1.5 million should the vaccine can be reached out to more people. In the recent year, there have been an increase in measles cases for about 30% alone from 2018 to 2019. Even though the increase is not all due to vaccine hesitancy, the number could be higher if there are more people rejecting the vaccines. If there are more people rejecting the vaccines, in some countries, like in Philippines, if I'm not mistaken, the disease should not be around anymore. But since there's a rise in anti-vax people, cases started appearing one by one, and there have even been deaths in the current year.
Right, okay. So you guys have heard about the amount increased in anti-vax people. So the measles have increased by almost 30%, but and partially of the 30% has been due to the people who has rejected the vaccine. So in order to reduce the amount of measles occurring in the years, we suggest that people out there to accept vaccines so that these diseases can be reduced from year to year. So, doctor, do you mind sharing some of the reasons why people are anti-vax and they reject the vaccines?
So yeah, sure. As I have mentioned earlier, these people who reject vaccines are those with no medical background. So one of the reasons why they reject vaccines is because they tend to believe that vaccine can cause autism. Well, actually, vaccine do not cause autism. There have no studies having found that autism and vaccines have absolutely no correlation. The only study that was made about this link between autism and vaccines has been discredited because the doctor who did that research the medical license of that doctor has been, rejected. So actually, one thing about autism is that infant can, have, can have autism even before they be vaccinated. Another point is that people tend to believe that these vaccines is too much for an infant's immune system. This is, however, not true. Yes, it is undeniable that babies are fragile, babies are weak. However, infants' immune system can handle so much more than what vaccines give them. Babies are exposed to, hundreds and hundreds of bacteria and viruses every day. Adding a few more vaccines doesn't add to what their immune system are capable of. This is because the higher vaccination rate in Malaysia. However, this rate is getting, increasing every year. So the only way to keep this disease low is by having our children vaccinated. So another reason why these people reject vaccine is because they believe that this vaccine is, toxic. Basically because it contains, aluminium and mercury, but what they don't know is that the amount of this aluminium and mercury in the vaccine. So basically about 2 years old infants only take 4 milligrams of mercury in their vaccine. So that amount of mercury would usually not affect a baby that much. Okay, so lastly, the reason why these people reject vaccine is because they believe that these vaccines are the cause of the disease. This is a common misconception, especially about the flu, the flu vaccine. Many people think that they get sick after getting the flu shot. This is impossible because what contains in the flu shot is actually a dead virus. So it's basically impossible for you to get sick after getting the flu shot. So even with the vaccine that use weakened live virus, well, you may get mild symptoms to the illness, but it's still basically impossible for you to get the disease itself.
So, Datin, do you mind sharing with us some of the benefits and the risks associated in the vaccines?
Oh yes, as you all know, vaccines is supposed to reduce the risk of deadly diseases, especially those contagious ones. But everything has its downsides. Everything, all medicines, including vaccines as well. But the primary benefit is that the vaccines help save lives. It prevents diseases by having immunization, which is the key that helps people to stay healthy. Vaccines protect people you care about. It prevents diseases from being spread to others in a community. This is what we call as herd immunity. Vaccines are also more cost effective. This is because the costs are incurred to prevent the diseases instead of treating the diseases. As we all know, prevent is better than cure. Next, vaccines are safe. Vaccines undergo rigorous safety testing prior to being approved by the Food and Drug Administration or FDA, and it is being continually monitored to safety in order to guarantee that it is safe for use. People are worried about the risk of immunization for every recommended vaccine, which is far less than the risk of natural infections. These vaccines may come with side effects such as temporary headache, fatigue, or loss of appetite. The vaccines may come with side effects such as temporary headache, fatigue, or loss of appetite, and sometimes people do experience severe allergic reactions or neurological effects such as seizures, but these are very rare. These risks are so insignificant as compared to when people do not take vaccines.
Okay, so we have come to the end of our talk and discussion for today. But before we end all of this, uh, do you have anything to at least say to the crowd?
Well, yeah, we are glad to be able to deliver our purpose on, enlightening the audience on vaccines and, to encourage the audience to vaccine their children.
Oh, all right. What about you, Datin? Do you have any last word?
Yeah, as opposed to all the myth that people have stated, vaccines actually do reduce the possibility of their children getting infected by deadly diseases and prevent them from having early death.
Okay, yeah, okay. So you guys get the message, right? From our specialists here. Okay, so thank you for having us today. And so we hope to see you guys again next time in our talk. Goodbye.